Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got a pretty short video for you. Today we'll be installing my Weapon X Track Attack heat exchanger on my 2012 Cadillac CTS-V. If you need any help getting the bumper off, please check out my other video on pulling off Cadillac CTS and CTS-V 08 to 2013, I believe. Bumpers, its process is the same across the board, with the exception of depending on the trim level, if they have the washer for the headlights or not. So yeah, first things first, let's get the bumper off. Alright, first things, installing our Track Attack heat exchanger or any heat exchanger, we'll go ahead and have to pull off this foam padding on this crash bar, which is just held in with some panel clips or trim clips. There's one right there and one right there. That's all the ones I see. Yeah, that should be the only two. Once we pull this off, then it'll give us access to our crash bar bolts, which is our crash bar right here. There should be 4 bolts on each side, so it'll be 4 over here, 4 over here. And yeah, let me get this off. We'll get that crash bar off and get the old heat exchanger out. Alright guys, I lied. There's also one other clip right here, which will be located right here on the driver's side lower portion. Those 3 clips pull that foam padding off. That gives us access to our crash bar bolts, or nuts in this case. And you see there's one right there. There's also one right can't see it. There's one right directly below it. They're 13 millimeter. There's going to be 2 on this side, 2 on this side. I'm going to have to pull this piece off, but it just looks like there's a clip. 2 clips down here. That looks like that's everything. Same thing on the driver's side. 4 crash bar bolts or nuts, one right there and one right directly below that. And this piece is in my way, but as you can see, well, you can't see it from right there. There it is. We'll have to pull this piece out. Same thing, 1 clip right there, 2 clips right there. That looks like it. I don't know, it looks like it's clipped in right there too. But yeah, that should give us the room to at least move it out of the way. So yeah, 13 mil, let's get to it. Alright, once we got those 8 13 millimeter nuts off the crash bar, also don't forget to remove this little mounting bolt, which is a 13 millimeter as well. Remove it real quick, and then we should be able to slide this bash bar off. Now working around this little shroud is a pain. It is a pain. You can I made it work. However, you could probably cut it off, or I'm sure there's a proper way to take it off. But yeah, not really trying to do all that. So alright, now this bash bar should come, crash bar, not bash bar, should come off. I'll put the camera down. I'm gonna see if I can get it off. Alright, once we got the crash bar off, as you can see, the passenger side slid off fine. Driver's side had a little bit of difficulties. I kind of had to grab it from the passenger side and kind of pop this side out. As you can see, there's this little metal clip that kind of holds on. I think that's what it was holding on. And there's also a clip or 2 right here on this bottom that I didn't take out, so I had to pop those out once I had the heat exchanger down. And once not the heat exchanger, my bad, the crash bar, once I had it down, I had to pop those tabs out. There's like one over here and one over here. Oh, this one wasn't even disconnected because I think it's broke off, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that one was connected. Now simply set this out of the way. I think it's a transmission cooler or oil cooler, but I kind of set that out of the way. And now we have access to our heat exchanger. There'll be 4 10 millimeter bolts. Now on the tops, I just went ahead and took it off from the bracket right here. Instead of just taking the heat exchanger off from the bracket, I took the bracket off with the heat exchanger. Same thing over here. This is a little bit harder, but you can see. Now on the bottom, I had to disconnect the heat exchanger from the bracket, because as you can see, the bracket wraps around and unbolts right there. You could probably just unbolt it right there and pull the bracket off with it. And same thing on this side. But yeah, here's our stock heat exchanger. It should come out. I'm not going to disconnect the hoses just yet. I got one right here and one right here. It might be hard to clear these, but I think we can just kind of pull it out like that and down. Yeah, that works. Same thing over here. Yeah, and kind of cock it forward. I might have to move this hose a little bit to kind of clear that. There we go. Same thing on this side, we can slide it over. Come on. There we go. Alright, but yeah, that's it. That's stock heat exchanger. Look how thin that is. And you got your AC condenser right there. And then behind that, our radiator. So, I'm going to get my line disconnect pliers, not line disconnect, but cut off pliers, whatever. To clamp onto this, it kind of holds it shut. That way we don't leak too much coolant. Alright, here's just a little side-by-side comparison of the stock heat exchanger versus the Weapon X. Look how much thicker, and in this case thinner. Now let's see if they're the same. Oh, that hose is in the way. They're about the same size. It's not perfectly lined up, but yeah, they're about the same width anyways. So yeah, I might have to go ahead and pull these brackets off the stock heat exchanger. So I think I'll have to transfer those over onto our new heat exchanger. So yeah, I'll probably just slide this one down, and then pick up my Weapon X, put it in there, kind of go ahead and mock it up while the lines are still connected. That way we lose as little coolant as possible. And I'm gonna go ahead and pre-fill this with some coolant. I'll probably pre-fill it on the passenger side, and then I'll just put a bolt or something, napkin or something in this port to make sure to kind of block it off. And then I'll raise this up on its side and go ahead and pre-fill it a little bit. Alright, one thing to note before we go ahead and put our heat exchanger in is make sure to connect this this hose right here. This is a bleeder hose. The actual fitting itself is going to be a 7/16. It's an American company, so 7/16. And I used a little bit of Teflon tape or plumber's tape on the bottom of this fitting, and then snugged it up, as you can see. Be careful not to over tighten it or snap it off in there, but as you can see, it's in there pretty good. And then we'll fish this bleeder up through here, so we'll be able to bleed the intercooler. But yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and start to pre-fill this one. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find something to block this port off with. I'll probably use like a big bolt or even a glove or something as simple as a balloon or something, just to plug this port off. And when we plug that port off, we'll tilt this whole intercooler up, not intercooler, my bad, heat exchanger up, and we'll put a funnel in here and start to pour coolant or antifreeze into there, and till it fills up. And then once it fills up, we'll go ahead and plug this hose in from here, and then we'll go ahead and pull the glove or whatever we use to plug that off with. We'll pull it off real quick and slap that hose on there. So yeah, let me go see if I can find something to plug that with. Alright, little pro tip. While I was looking around for something to plug that port with, remember we took these rubber pieces off that little bezel up here, and just so happens they fit in there pretty good. I mean, it's not like super snug, so I'm pretty sure that's gonna leak a little bit, but as you can see, I just pushed that up in there nicely, and it actually sealed pretty good. It'll probably leak a little bit of coolant, but as long as we're not leaking it as quick as we're putting it in, I think we'll be alright. We'll leak a little bit, no big deal. As you can see, I got my hose pliers. You can probably also use like vice grips or channel locks, probably vice grips. But yeah, we're gonna put these on these hoses once we get ready to disconnect them. Put that on those hoses, that way we lose as little coolant as possible. And same thing on that hose over there. So alright, now that I got the new heat exchanger pre-filled, I went ahead and got the lines hooked up to it. Now I was going to put it up in there, and it's so much thicker that I can't slide it in like I could slide it out the old one. So first thing I did was remove this plastic cover, which is right here. There'll be one plastic clip right there, and there'll be a plastic clip right here, which should be will be onto this sensor as well. Just kind of set that up there out of the way. And then it'll be two 10mm bolts, one right there and one right there. Once you loosen them, Might have to take those. I might have to disconnect those. I might not, maybe not. But we'll kind of, as you can see, they kind of sandwich behind where the crash bar bolts up to. Pull this, make sure we don't drop that clip. Come on. There we go, there's that clip. We'll just set that right there. And we can kind of pull and finagle this up and out of the way a little bit. You can probably go ahead and disconnect these with a flathead or panel clip remover, but I think we got them out of the way enough. So, also one thing to note, I carried over the brackets from the original heat exchanger in the exact identical orientation over to the new one. As you see, there's that one and that one, and of course we didn't disconnect the bracket, so I still got the 2 bolts, and we'll just connect this one to that one. So let me see if I can slide it up in there and tighten it down. Alright, one thing to keep in mind when going and putting the bumper back on is this little bracket right here for both sides, a little plastic bracket. Those little prongs right there, they'll match up with this. They'll set just like that. And that's where your 110 mil goes in. It also goes into the top. And then your other 10 mil goes into that hole right there, which goes right there. These 2 little prongs on top mesh in right in those 2 holes. But yeah, and also getting your brake duct on, it's quite a challenge. That's probably going to be the hardest part. Yeah, this side for some reason doesn't have a clip. The driver's side, it just has these metal indentions, whereas the passenger side has, mine had 2 clips, 1 clip. But yeah, you gotta get that to line up with that, and also get that onto the housing right there. So that's gonna be fun. I'll probably go ahead and put the back end first in, and then I might have to, once I get the bumper on, pull the splash shield down and kind of finagle it in there. But yeah, alright, as you can see, I got the bumper and everything all back together. I ran the bleed hose right here for the heat exchanger, and then I went ahead and bled the system from this port right here while I had that one open. Some water shot out, or coolant. But yeah, I went ahead and bled the system. So thank you for watching. Please smash that like button, and I'll see y'all in the next video.